Hello, everybody, and welcome back. Hope you guys got to enjoy some of the fun of the Community Clash Tournament that's going to be going on all week. But we've also got another thing that's going on all week. We got the Content Creator Cup on the brand new Slash map that's coming out on 9.1. My name is J Mac Tucker. Joining me for this fun content creator fun is going to be a content creator of our own over here, Trelly Relly, joining me.
Dude, I'm very excited. If you guys remember, just last year I was playing and now I get to sit back and watch my, I guess, underclassmen, if we could call them, compete for this prize. So it's going to be very exciting. Obviously, it's all for a great cause. It's for charity, but there's still going to be some competition here to watch, and we are very excited to bring you that action.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, our two teams out here today are competing for Make-A-Wish and Game Changer Org are the two charities that are going to be competing with our two teams. Our first team out here is Team Wraithyn. That's going to be Wraithyn, Rexy, Double J, Warchi, and Savvy Squints. And then they're going up against Olympus and Friends, who's a whole group of our Olympians and some of our SMITE stream team streamers with Tempest, Puffy, Davian, Sinfo, and Biakai, or Black Eye, just depending on maybe what day of the week it is that you ask him.
Yeah, I think that we're going to have some competing gods, as we were talking about a little bit beforehand. They all like to play some sort of different niche picks. There is going to be picks and bans, which is something that is going to be add a little bit of edge to it. We know that Rexy's going to try to get that Uller pick, and hopefully that gets banned away. I just love to see that look on his face when they target ban him. So he's going to have to play something because Rexy doesn't have a god pool. He's got a god puddle. If they ban one of his three gods, he's gonna be definitely grasping at straws. So hopefully there'll be some sort of edge there. It's all in good fun, but we do want to see some fierce competition here.
Yeah, and I imagine there might even be some kind of infighting in some of the teams themselves. I know that there are a couple of players on the Olympus and Friends team that really like playing Scylla, notably Tempest and Puffy. And I know that Puffy actually came into Wraithyn's chat one night during his stream and actually said, "I'm going to ult you as Scylla in our first game that we play against each other." So maybe a little bit of fear in Wraithyn here, and maybe he'll go ahead and ban that Scylla away. Like we said, there will be a picks and bans, which will make it a lot of interesting curves and dynamics in this game.
Yeah, I'm hoping to see, like, once again, because I was also in Wraithyn's chat, because I like to scout the fields. I like to make sure that I know what's going on at all times when we're casting games like this. And apparently Wraithyn's team might not let him bring out one of these signature picks of his, but I want to see these Wraithyn Thor ults. Whether they hit or whether they miss, it is going to be great fun for us, and that's what I'm looking forward to. As hype as these ults are going to be, if they're on or off, it's going to be a great time for us to watch them fail miserably or just make some big plays out of them.
Yeah, and as mentioned, this is going to be played on the brand new Slash map. You guys got to get a nice little scenery of it with the dev show match that we had over on Tuesday. It's hard to say that was 2 days ago, kind of thinking about it. Actually, no, it was Wednesday. God, it was actually Wednesday. It was even sooner than that. My entire week is thrown all amok here. But picks and bans for our first game of the Content Creator Show match is ready to go. Like we said, it will be on that Slash map. It will be Olympus and Friends on the first pick going up against Wraithyn here.
We got to see if the target bans are going to come right out of the gate. Are they going to just pick? Because what do you? This map is new, right? You don't really know these guys that got. Oh, okay. First of all, already shots are being fired. The Uller and the Rama, both signature picks of Rexy and Biakai, as we were saying earlier, are going to be taking away. But this is a new map. You haven't gotten that much playtime on it. What are going to be these core picks that you think are going to be strong? And already, Geb, we've seen that be a strong pick in any right. So this isn't just a map strong pick. This is just Gab being taken away, which is a very strong god in his own right.
Yeah, definitely a few of those kind of signature picks here. You talk about the Ul and the Rom kind of being specifically targeted ones. The Thor also one targeted at Wraith, so it's not even his own team telling him, no, you can't play it. A little bit of fear out of Olympus and Friends, the Geb coming through here. And with this Slash out, I know that Wraithyn was doing a stream last night. He was kind of playing for a few hours, testing some things out, so maybe we'll get to see if some of those picks pop out for him this time around. But a lot of things, new on the map. If you guys are unfamiliar of what exactly Slash is, well, it might sound familiar because it's a combination of Siege and Clash. It's kind of the best of both modes brought here. We'll highlight a lot of those when we actually get to jump in the game. A little bit of issue with the players coming on through here. They should be getting themselves right back into those picks and bans. That way we can move on and get you guys right into the game. But, man, I'm excited. I finally got to, get a couple of official games on this map. I got to tell you, it's a lot of fun. It's very fast-paced, 15, 20-minute games. It has kind of been the average amongst this mode.
Yeah, I mean, I was playing a good bit of the PTS earlier, and you kind of you can really stack up those siege jugs. You kill them, and then they start pushing down the lane. I think we had 3 or 4 at one time, which never got to happen on the old Siege map. You could get maybe 2, and now you've got 3 that you can teleport to, and you get to choose which lane you teleport to, which was also never a mechanic. You got to teleport to the first one that spawned, and if there was one in a different lane you wanted to go to, you didn't get to choose. Now you can go, hey, do we want to go left and right? A lot more strategy involved in this game mode now. And of course, now that there's the Apophis, that's going to be, you know, it becomes a little bit. I love the fact that we decided the Clash, the best of Clash and the best of Siege, and just combined it two. It meshes so well.
Yeah, I mean, keeping Apophis around, I mean, as Ajax kind of alluded to when they were doing the showcase, it's everybody's second favorite giant snake behind Jormungandr. Maybe for some people, their favorite giant snake here in the game of Smite. So with that Apophis staying in the center, it will be 10 minutes before that comes up. That's kind of the main objective that came around for the Clash mode. The Siege Juggernaut that spawned in the middle of the Siege map was also kind of the main objective to battle around if you could. So kind of combining those two aspects. Now, killing Apophis doesn't give you a Siege Juggernaut, but bringing Apophis out does have a few Siege Juggernaut camps that spawn along with him. And like you said, I mean, you can have 3, 4, I think theoretically from what I've kind of done with some very minor research, is in theory you could have 6 of them up at the exact same time.
That would be insane. Trying to defend against 6 Siege Jugs, I can't imagine. Where would you even begin? Because you're just like, all right, let's okay, well, first we'll go for this one, and then this one's gonna be pushing over to our Phoenix over here, so then we have to, there's going to be a lot of different ways to outplay someone because you can choose which one to teleport, as we were just mentioning. But either way, as long as you're staying on top of these timers and as long as you're not letting that overwhelm, I feel like this could be a very snowbally map in that regard. As long as you're staying on top of these timers, making sure that you have these Siege Jugs and everything, I mean, it's going to be the main point of contention. I think the Apophis, again, it is going to be, you know, that 10-minute spawn. They're probably going to dogpile on it. Who knows if they're going to be able to burst it or not. But these Siege Jugs are definitely going to be exactly what you want to look for if you're wanting to get pressure on this new Slash map. And, you know, it's just going to be extremely difficult to try to deal with these big pushes as me and J-Mac were just theorizing.
Yeah, I think in the kind of the big boon that comes with that is it is closer to the Clash map in size. So having 5 players on the map in such a small confined area is going to create a lot of chaos. You'll typically have your 2-3 split with one of them kind of being more so of a roaming kind of a god. Typically, your more mobile assassins or even warriors kind of just bouncing back and forth. The buff camps kind of having these staggered respawn timers here. You know, the red buff coming up every 2 minutes in that center of the map, at least until Apophis comes up. But picks and bans are ready to go once again, so thankfully we can jump in and kind of see what everybody does want to pick up here. I imagine it's a lot less of the kind of super try-hard, imagining a lot more of just kind of the fun, have a little bit of good stuff out here. We do see the Ho Yi as one final ban here by Olympus and friends.
And then the Aphrodite is going to be taken away. I'm not sure if that is a target ban or not, but nobody likes dealing with an unkillable target, so I guess that does make a lot of sense. And the Yemoja is going to be the first pick here. We do see a lot of those corridors where you could be able to maybe lock off with this River's Rebuke, so that could be a high point of contention there. But 2 globals were taken away, as you were just mentioning. This is that smaller map, but there is a lot of range to go for here, so the Thor and the Rama Snipes will be taken away. But looking for first pick Guardians on both sides, the Kuzenbo is going to be the first pick here for Wraithyn's team.
And not just the Kuzenbo, also the Zeus. And I think you're kind of right to kind of talk about these semi-global ultimates, because semi-global mostly applies to things like Conquest. The map is so big, your Rama Snipe is only going to go from, you know, halfway into the jungle into a lane at best. This map, semi-global, essentially just becomes fully to, you know, 3/4 or so global. Well, on that opposite side, we were kind of talking about beforehand how Scylla might be a god that comes out here. And I'm curious as to which of the players on this team is going to be piloting the Scylla, but then you throw the Neath, the couple along there, so we got your carries. But on the other side here for Wraithyn's team, they want to get that front line Gilgamesh locked in.
I mean, Gilgamesh is a great pick for any sort of reason to chase down this Scylla. You can blink in, go for the kick, and then she dashes away. Now you still have your jump and chase. You got the Samash, which is a great tool to chase as well. I'm very excited to see this Scylla because, as you said, Puffy already called out, he's trying to Scylla Wraithyn game right out of the bat. And if that does happen, we're going to sit here and we're going to laugh. And we're going to, because this is all in good fun, as we've said. We're going to make sure we want these I'm a Monsters to be landing on Wraithyn as much as possible. No bias in that at all. But
none.
A great 3-man pick for both teams. I can see a lot of damage, a lot of CC. I love that they prioritize these Guardians because I feel like that's going to be the real driving force. You don't really have too much engage without these Guardians, and I'm wanting to see if that's going to be Double J piloting that Kuzenbo because he could really do some damage pushing these carries through the wave.
Well, the second wave of bans through Hercules and Nike, so getting rid of some more of that front line because you do only have the emojis so far as your tanks are concerned for Olympus and Friends, but Olympus and Friends will ban a couple of carries away to kind of force Biakai to go a little bit deeper in his kind of god puddle necessarily. I mean, for me, you take the ROM away from Biakai, you kind of taken the god pool away, but another very auto attack centric hunter in that instance, Izanami, does manage to sneak through, and that one will very likely be going over to him. And I'm kind of curious if Wraith has already kind of gotten his pick selection here, or if maybe he's holding it for a final shot. The other side here, though, Ares being hovered, gonna absolutely demolish this Zeus.
Double Guardian, double ADC. That is going to be very difficult to deal with in the late game if they do choose. Yeah, they are going to lock that Chiron. So double Guardian, double ADC. This game does go late. They're going to have a Scylla, and they're going to have 2 ADCs on top of these double Guardians. I'm thinking, okay, there we go. We are going to see the double warrior. I was going to say maybe an assassin to deal with that if they want to not try to, you don't want to try to contest the double hunter late game. Maybe you just want to go for some assassins, go for some early pressure, but warriors are going to do the same thing. Kakolan and Gilgamesh is a crazy dive. They have a lot of squishy targets here. If we're going for drafts alone, I like Team Wraithyn's a lot.
Yeah, and one of the big things to, you know, we talked about how it's the slash map, it's a new map, all kinds of things, but that also entails that we're in Season 9's patch here. You know, we're on the 9.1, so we're going to see a lot of these new relics that have popped out. We can see some of the new glyphs, some of the adjustments that have been made to items, some of the extra balances that have popped up with these gods. So I'm very excited to see kind of what some of those new relic options are going to be. Kuzumbo with the new thorns. I mean, it can create a... okay, pun intended here. It's going to be a major thorn in anybody's side, especially for these double basic attack style gods with this Neith and Chiron.
I'm looking to see some scorching blinks from Kuzumbo pushing through the flames. Can you imagine just the amount of raw damage that he's going to be able to put out? Not only that, we have 2 new Deathbringer options for 2 new ADCs, neither of which really love going crit, but it's not like they couldn't do it. They certainly could if they were trying to try either of these new Deathbringers out. And we've already touched on the fact that Izanami, I've seen some crazy cooldown resets with that new Deathbringer that resets the cooldowns because she has a lot of ways to proc the crits. You know, if you're ordering through 2-3 people at once, there's going to be a lot of different cooldown resets in that regard. So there's a lot of different options here and a lot of things that we don't know what to expect because we haven't seen these builds in action yet. I'm hoping to see that they did their homework. They looked up some things. They playing the PTS over the past couple days like we were. And maybe they'll bring out some new tech that we haven't even thought of.
Yeah, I mean, with some of these auto attack centrics getting that breastplate, I think it's the breastplate of Vigilance, the blue one for its glyph, can reduce some of that basic attack damage that can be thrown their way after casting ultimates. Things, you know, Kuzumbo, Kakolan, they're going to love getting in the midst of the fight. Gilgamesh is going to want to lock some of these ones down. So I might be a little bit scared here for Olympus and Friends with how, you know, auto attack centric they put themselves and with how some of these new items can kind of slot themselves to really trying to punish those. But as you talk about that Deathbringer, all those resets that you can get, if you can get that Bumbus Hammer plus Deathbringer and then build however much crit you want to try and maximize that efficiency, could be really dangerous, especially for these ability hunters. I mean, sure, they don't want crit, but if you can keep giving Neith Spirit Arrows on like a 3-second cooldown, I'm not going to say no to that. Yeah,
that definitely sounds pretty deadly. Not only that, they do have this Ares, and there's not a lot of CC immune ults on Team Wraithyn. If you hear Izanami, Zeus, and Gilgamesh, they're all going to be getting pulled every other Ares ult if played correctly. So they're going to have to either pick up some Magi's or pick that positioning a little bit better because I think this Ares was an excellent counter pick. The Chiron, making sure that there was no cleanses available that they could go for as well, so they took that off the table. I mean, it was a last pick, but hey, that could have been the thought process. You don't know. So they're going to be, and as well as it stops the Kuzumbo dash, which is super annoying. If you do want to engage with this Kuzumbo push, the Sumo Slam, the cripple is never going to feel good for that. So I like this Ares pick a lot. I think that might not have been something they were planning to go for, but then once they saw this draft, they're like, this could really shut down a good portion of that team. So I really do like that, and I think that if the Zeus isn't positioning well, it's hard to position his Zeus as is, because he has to really be pretty close up to get this damage off, but anytime he's in blink range, he's going to be in danger this game.
Yeah, and with some of the adjustments to beads itself, we did get 2 new upgraded beads, so with these 3 that don't have that CC immunity kind of inherited into their kit that you were talking about earlier on Wraithyn's team, picking up those beads is going to be a must, maybe Magi's Blessing. That new temporal beads, you know, for those of you who haven't been around the Smite scene in a long time, you see this and you go, wow, Temporal beads, that sounds crazy, getting 3 seconds off of all of my abilities. Wow, where's this been? It used to be a thing in SMITE so long ago, and now seeing it back is kind of such a nostalgic point for some of us, long-standing veterans who have been around the game for a long time. So now the chance that we essentially kind of get to see them almost forced into it, though there is the chaotic beads out there. Whenever you cleanse CC, you can deal some extra damage to the people around you at that time. Could be some interesting fun. Let's see what all happens, though, here. Game number 1 of the best of 1 here between our two teams for the Content Creator Cup. Olympus and Friends against Team Wraithyn on the brand new Slash map.
And it looks like it's going to be Savvy on that Kuzumbo, Rexy on the Iza, and Double J on the Zeus. That is a comp that I would have not expected, but we do get to see Puffy piloting that Scylla. So if those I'm a Monsters are landing on Wraith, he will be a man of his word. And I'm looking to see exactly that. When this Scylla hits level 5, I want to be watching with eyes open. And the red buff is going to be 50-50'd, and it is going to go the way of Team Wraithyn, it looks like. Yep, they did pick it up. Now they're going back and starting to push their waves.
Do you think that Wraithyn picked a tank specifically because he knew Puffy wanted to go for these level 5 Scylla kills or even things like that? So he wants to make sure he's not going to die to him right away, because I kind of half expected him to be the one piloting this Zeus, but instead he'll be on the Kukulkan, Puffy going with that Scylla, and then Davian actually going to be the one here running that Ares over on that opposite side of the map for the time being. Could be a very dangerous kill lane, but instantly goes in Rexy. He gets chained on landing, hit with the Spirit Arrow, forced back under that tier 1 tower. Davian is not done just yet. He's still getting those chains out there. Puffy with the crush up against the Kuzumbo. Gonna deal a lot of damage, and there's 2 lanes to fight it, but we've got all 10 on the right side.
Yeah, looks like we're going for the 5v5 death lane. Now they've started to realize there's some farm to be had, so they're going to come over here. Wraithyn is going to be picking up a lot of rage over here. I like how they're splitting up now, because you never really know what's the best way. Do you want to team fight early? Do you want to split out the XP? I think splitting out the XP really is going to be the best early, because as you can see, there's already some ultimates on the side. So both teams are starting to trickle over to 5 now. Still no 5 for Scylla. That's where my eye is right now. There's some low health targets. Maybe I'm a Monster could execute them if it does find the target. But look at the relic choices here. We're going to see a lot of... They're going to be upgrading these blinks early. They already put some gold into upgrading these blinks. That's a tier 2 blink.
Yeah, we're going to have the beads on the opposite side here. 3 sets of beads out of Olympus and Friends. And already 2 of them, both of them now on cooldown for Team Wraithyn. Whereas it is 2 blinks, a shell versus a med, and then a sprint as well with that heavenly agility. So a lot of different relics popping out. Not a whole lot of change-ups in starter items necessarily. I think the sigil is probably the most interesting one, because it's an item that we don't really get to see all that often. We saw a lot of buffs come its way, and there was a lot of people going, yeah, sigil is kind of crazy, especially that infused sigil. But with the Warriors Axe changes, it's kind of one of the only items that we saw for the longest time. So I'm very curious how these sigils are going to play out.
Yeah, into Ares, there's a lot of tick damage. It could be pretty useful, as well as you got double ADCs early. You do want to be as tanky as possible, because late game, assuming, well, there's a lot of new tank items as well, actually. I was going to say that late game, that the Hunters are going to be shredding no matter what, but you have a lot of different options, man. Season 9 is looking very exciting for every class. I think Mage has got the least amount. Like, they just have that upgraded Rod of Tahuti, as well as yeah, the upgraded Rod of Tahuti I want to touch on real quick, because I've been using the Comet one, the one that shoots an extra Comet.
Right.
I've been trying to go for the Janus snipe across the map where the Comet finishes them off, and I just can't land it for the life of me. I think it's probably one of those items you want to pick up later in your build, because I've been trying to go like first or second item on Janus, and it really doesn't work out that well. But we'll have to see if they decide to value those 2 options for upgraded Rod. Probably no one in this game. Actually, maybe Zeus could go the attack speed Rod. That could be pretty useful, getting those charges on early.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe we do get to see that Nimble Rod picked up by Double J on the Zeus, but for now, it's Warchi getting warded, a double ward at least dropped on him. Nice little Riptide out of Tempest to kind of keep him locked down, but after that initial big fight that we had in that right side, nobody really wants to fight just yet. A little bit of a slower paced early game. Puffy going with that tier 2 Enchanted Spear. So I'm curious where he'll end up leveling that up, if he goes for the Spear of Desolation for some extra cooldown, or if he goes for that Spear of the Magus. Divine Ruin could even be an option, but there's not a whole lot of healing on this team, and mostly just to be trying to shut down some of that lifesteal that could be built.
It looks like Black Eye's been hoarding some XP to himself. 2 members level 7, but he is already level 9. I think he did solo the speed buff off first spawn, so he does have a little bit extra XP. Maybe they're just trying to get him as fed as possible. That could definitely be a viable strategy here. But already, Davian has picked up the Heart Ward Amulet. We know there is 2 potent upgrades to that item, so that might be the route he elects to go. He may just hold off, or he could upgrade it right away. There's a lot of different protections that you can go. If you do go the one that converts your physical protections to magical protections, you can get extremely tanky with those items.
Well, not just that. Double Blackthorn Hammer plus the sigils for the warriors on the side of Team Wraithyn. So there's a lot of defense and a lot of early power. But those first camps on the right and left-hand side of the map, well, maybe we'll hold that. Tempest goes down for first blood. Team Wraithyn strikes in, and the Warriors will dive under the tower to try and kill Piakai, but he's able to turn one around before he goes down, making it a 2-for-1 trade. Davian rotates in, finds 3 with the ultimate, but he's not going to pull anybody in. The beads are all good from the side of Olympus and friends.
What a crazy dive those tanky Warriors were able to go so far. And Warchi might find the kill here. It's so weak, but he's going to jump for it, and he gets out scot-free while Rexy goes for the dive. Are you kidding me? How aggressive are they getting right now? Of course, they do have Sigil and Blackthorn Hammer. They're extremely tanky. They can go for some of these plays. But that was insane. They were able to dive the tower so freely, only losing 1 member. Team Wraithyn finding some crazy aggression 5 minutes into this Slash match.
And now that we have passed that 5-minute mark, specifically, well, all right, so Double J just died to Biakai and Tempest there, probably taking up a little too much damage from that camp. Then we'll go ahead and talk a little bit about here. You notice the side camps, one on the left, one on the right, off to the far edges. Those ones will alternate spawns between giving you an enhanced buff camp or giving you a siege monster. When it has the purple circle filling itself up, that'll be a siege monster. Otherwise, it will be the respective buff camp that's coming up, similar to the one on the right-hand side now that is orange. They will never be the same whenever they both spawn in. One will be siege, one will be normal, but then every time you kill one, it'll alternate itself, and it doesn't go in tow with the other one. That's where you can get some real fun, is if you can get both of those Siege Juggernaut camps on the sides locked down, and then later on get that one in the back.
Ooh, red buff was stolen away, I believe, by Team Wraithyn once again. But Tempest has been hitting these Riptides pretty consistently. That's the reason Double J died there. Another one comes through. They're going to have to watch out for this Yamoja, these plucks, so to speak, that just pull you in. They mess with your positioning just a little bit and then throws you off guard. And not to mention, once again, Black Eye did get 2 kills there. Both of the kills on this Chiron here. Level 12 already. He does have quite the XP lead over his team. And only one person's 12 over on Team Wraithyn. So they still have a shining ray of hope. They're not down by too much at all. But Team Wraithyn has been getting extremely aggressive. So they might want to put some of that aggression towards this Chiron, because he does have a little bit more XP than everyone else over on Olympus and Friends.
Yeah, I mean, you've got a triple front line. I see no reason why you wouldn't just want to dive in super aggressively up against this Olympus and Friends team. This Zeus is going to give them a lot of problems as the game goes on. We all know just how much damage a Zeus really can do out there. I think it's interesting that both the tanks have opted for some of the items that can go into those glyphs, but they went for 2 different ones. Savvy going towards the breastplate, which you can get that breastplate of vigilance, and then you can get the golden one. I already immediately forgot the name because, I mean, the patch just came out, you know, a couple of days ago for the node. So forgive me if my homework isn't fully up to date just yet. And then you have Davian going with the Heart Ward that can get its 2 options. I believe that's the Vow of Silence is the main one. That can be an option that'll, you know, they cast a bunch of abilities, and then, well, you can throw out a basic attack and silence somebody for a short duration. And then there's also the Protections one, aforementioned previously. A lot of damage thrown towards Davian. He'll go for the ultimate, but Warchi will be just fine. He's going to go ahead and leap away, and a River's Rebuke expended as well, so it's a couple of big ults from the frontliners.
Oh, Black Eye's not going to let Warchi back there, and he's going to go for the ult. We got kind of a big engage here. I'm a Monster a little bit off the mark. And it looks like they're going to keep this going. They're not going to be able to dive this, but look how aggressive they're being.
Wraith just missed a point-blank ultimate. I mean, against 2 different people. Like, Biakai was able to at least dash away in time, but I think he just outright missed it against the other carry there. So that one's going to be on cooldown. But and here's the problem going up against this Zeus. You're not even safe in the depths of your own tower, though not quite a lot of damage online just yet. And because everybody was fighting on that right side, we see Rexy make a nice little rotation over. He'll start whittling away this tier 1 tower in the left lane.
Yeah, that Izanami is going to have a lot of pressure here as Wraithyn gets angry, and he's going to go for the dive. Sprint does get popped. It looks like they might just back off here. As you said, that could be it. Oh, it was so close. What a clutch heal. You cannot hide under this tower, but Warchi's going for the dive. Oh my goodness.
Warchi has no respect. He doesn't care what towers you have up. He's going to go in every day of the week on this Gilgamesh. Well, we are just less than a minute from Apophis spawning up in the mid, the major objective of this map. And it seems that Team Wraithyn want to try and put a little bit more pressure in these lanes to try and set themselves up towards it. Remember, just like on the Clash map, you don't want to be standing in the center when Apophis does come out, because he does deal a lot of damage. I think he deals like 90 or 95% of your health bar as soon as he lands in. So if you do get caught in there, well, at least hope you have some full HP.
I'm pretty sure everyone who's played Clash at least once has died to Apophis spawning. I know I have. The first time I did it, it was on accident, and then sometimes I just stand there on purpose because I think it's hilarious. But it looks like Olympus and friends will have a Siege Jug pushing their way pretty soon, so they might be able to look for some aggression there, because Team Wraithyn has had their feet on the gas pretty much this whole game. I mean, led by the double warrior dive, Warchi has been getting in there. Obviously, we just saw him almost dive Phoenix. He's been going so hard, and look at this. They're so deep in their jungle. Oh, Warchi went for his little quest and stole the item and got out, baiting out the River's Rebuke as well. Oh, that's unfortunate. You hate to see that.
What a monumentous bait coming out of Warchi. You know, everybody's grouping up. They're like, yeah, we can kill Warchi. And meanwhile, he's like, guys, I'm just playing fetch quest right now. Like, I just want my item. I just want to get out of here. But now it's actually time to fight a dive under the tier 2 tower. And the winds of Shamash cast itself was enough to get the kill. He'll get yanked back in. Puffy goes in, missed the Sikkim, gets a little bit of damage to the Crush, but not a whole lot. It's Double J dropping down the Lightning Storm on top of 3 different players. A dive in by Warchi, drop kick, miss, but Savvy will push one against the wall. Everybody's getting low. I'm a monster from Puffy off the mark, and all of Team Wraithyn nice and healthy, still diving back beyond this tier 2.
How did that get a kill? I don't even see how Savvy was able to finish that. That must have been a crazy Nene bounce. But have you seen the hot steps on Warchi? He was like 1 HP. Rexy getting extremely low, and the masterful shot's gonna finish him. Of course, Rexy a little bit too overconfident there. Oh, the TP.
Whoa, okay. So wait, Warchi teleported in just to blink out?
I'm thinking Warchi is feeling himself right now, man. If you saw what we just saw and didn't think that he felt a little bit too overconfident right now, I mean, you'd be crazy not to. He was 1 HP. He juked an I'm a monster, a Sikkim. I'm pretty sure a Spirit Arrow was in there. He's got the hot steps right now. You can't touch Warchi.
And he's 5-0-1. Hasn't had death to his name just yet. With Apophis coming up, it did end up spawning 2 of those Siege Juggernaut camps on the back right above each of the respective Titans. You can already see those have been dropped and at the same time killed. So both teams will now have that one off for just a little while. A group up around Apophis, or maybe just this right side. I say that, it's just Warchi. Warchi against the world out here. He'll even get another River's Rebuke. This man alone is causing some trembles in the ocean.
I mean, I don't blame Tempest for throwing these ults up, because I've seen what Warchi has been doing to the carries of Olympus and Friend. Ooh, the Centaurus is going to come in. It's not. Oh, that was close. Black Eye was almost able to steal that away, but Apophis does go to Team Wraithyn, and the aggression might continue over here.
Warchi even diving so far to try and find Black Eye, but the Lightning Storm, the detonate out of Double J, gets 2 kills with the help of Rexy there. 2-0 already in the midst of the fight. Chain off the mark by Davy, and Black Eye rotating in to try and help and get some damage, but it's not going to be anything. No escape, only pulls in Warchi, but it may have just been towards his own doom. Black Eye uses the Aegis, uses the Giddy Up, and that'll get him back to the fountain. But now it's just him and Tempest to try and defend against this right side Phoenix, but there's no saving it here. Maybe somebody will finally, yes, Rexy does stick around to make sure it goes down. And already Team Wraithyn up 5,000 gold, 11-3 on the kills.
The respawn timers were a little bit too slow for them to go for the end there. They may have had the damage, they may have had the confidence, but let's not go for it just yet. There's still a tower up. There's still another Phoenix up. Maybe we go back, get some items. We have a Siege Jug pushing now. Now the options are open. Team Wraithyn can do one of many things. I assume they're going to let that Siege Jug push and run it down left lane, but the options are unlimited right now if you are Team Wraithyn. And it looks like The nimble Rod of Tahuti was the one that was picked up, so now Double J does have that extra attack speed on this suit, so that's exciting. I want to see exactly how much that really does affect how many detonates you can get off, because it does give you that 2% attack speed for every 40 magical power you have. And on Zeus, once you put that shield down, you already get a good bit of attack speed, so I want to see crazy detonates coming out of Double J right now.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, just Basie's sitting at 1.3 attack speed. We'll see how much further that goes up and how much more Puffy has to use just to try and get away. The answer is he doesn't have enough. Double J's there on the Zeus to confirm the kill. A dive in by Wraithyn on the left-hand side. Gets the River's Rebuke out of Tempest one more time. Tempest on the run back to the fountain, but Wraith doesn't want to let anybody go for free back there. Piakai does manage to squeak through. Davian goes in with the ultimate. But a quick beads will make sure that they're able to get out. Team Wraithyn don't get the Phoenix, and they're not going to get any damage on that Titan. That right side wave still pushed fairly far up.
Yeah, they dove very hard, and I was gonna say you're not even safe in your Titan, but they all made it out pretty unscathed there. I mean, except for Puppy, who did get finished by the lightning storm. Besides that, a pretty solid defense from Olympus and friends. This game is not over yet, but of course you have to worry about Warchi coming from behind at any moment. This man lives in their jungle. Anytime you're going to sleep at night, Warchi is there and is going to be drugged in the face.
Puffy is doing a decent bit of damage to him. Not a whole lot of magic protection in the way of Warchi just yet. He is starting to build into it. But quickly a dive in. Biakai has to go back and deal with the minion wave on the right side. Well, the rest of the team goes for the free cast. Centaurs comes through. Biakai's got the damage. I'm a monster out of Puffy. We'll make sure to get enough damage to take them down. Doesn't get the full reset, but a crush thrown out. Wraithyn falling low. Dark Portal just off the mark by Rexy. Wraithyn is falling low, but Warchi, the man on a mission, is out here trying to get anything that he can. Sinister Phoenix picks up Wraithyn, and Warchi dives in trying to get Davian, but the heals are just too much, and Puffy picks up Rexy. It's a full turnaround Dia's side for Olympus and friends.
That was some clutch snipes by Black Eye to start that off, but Tempest keeping everyone alive. Those heals were insane. I mean, that could have easily been like a 3-for-3 and a retreat, but no, those Yamoja heals came in so clutch. They need to get some anti-heal online now, because this game just turned for the worse for Team Wraithyn. That Phoenix is probably going to be up now. They have to deal with so much, and they're stealing away. Oh, that was huge for them. And those snipes, just to start it off, gave them that confidence boost they needed. That was such a great fight.
We do actually see not the cooldown style Deathbringer that we would have been more accustomed to. Rexy actually going for the Poison Star style one, so they're able to reduce some of that attack speed, reduce some of that power of players that he's going to be hitting with those crits. Puffy has down a monster, and Apophis will go down for Olympus and friends. And just like when Apophis spawns at that 10-minute mark, bringing those siege camps with them, any siege camp on the top or bottom of the map that was on cooldown will come back with him. So now we see an immediate reset. Olympus and friends, they can grab their siege minion, head their way back to base, and then they can start getting some push-ups, because they've got one in left, but they've got to defend against two of them pushing up on this right side.
I love what Team Wraithyn's doing here, though. They did just drop a fight, but they are not going to hide with their tail tucked between their legs. They're looking for the aggression. They've got the siege jugs. This Phoenix just responded, and now the siege begins.
Wraithyn goes in the back, finds two with the ultimate, but he's low on health now, quarter health on the warrior, but Davian's already gone. Their main front line has used everything. All ults are on cooldown for Olympus and friends. Meanwhile, Team Wraithyn has a couple of their own that they can still use. At the very worst, they'll get this Phoenix down one more time. That's all that Team Wraithyn can do. They're falling pretty low. Wraithyn and Savvy Squints, two of their premier frontliners, very low on HP.
Yeah, Davian just not quite tanky enough to get that ult off right now. Maybe if once he finishes that build, he'll be able to. But at the moment, they do have a siege jug. Warchi's dealing with it. I would have liked to see maybe them try to push something here, but 4v5, maybe it's just too spooky for them. I mean, you want to sit back, you want to get that Phoenix spawned in. They've been aggressed upon quite a lot this game, J-Max. So maybe they just want to dial it back, sit in the well, get your farm going. Once you get everyone level 20, maybe they'll peek their heads out. They do have, as we've said, they have this double ADC comp. They have Apophis on their belts for a little bit longer. Maybe they just want to try to get full items, try to get these ADCs online, and then go for a 5v5. I can see that being the strategy. I mean, these warriors are going to feel so oppressive until these ADCs are able to shred them down. So if they want to just dial it back, maybe try to get some starter items upgraded, look for those level 20 builds, and then go for a 5v5 under their one standing Phoenix, that could be the strategy they try to employ here.
Now, Davian will end up picking up that Vow of Silence for his Heart Ward upgrade glyph there. So he's got it stacked up. The next person he slams with the basic attack, assuming he can get in and actually hit that, will do a Pulse Silence in his area against everybody. But with those double ADCs, they're going the same build here. They got the Transcendence, the new Atalanta's bow, and it's just a ton of stats on it. Just basically one of the perfect items for any hunter to pick up no matter what. You get some lifesteal and some extra crit with that Wind Beam, and Byakai just a little bit further along in his build, having that tier 2 towards what I can only imagine will be his own Deathbringer.
Yep, and the Death's Embrace and Death's Temper, respectively, for both of these ADCs, of course. Neith not quite level 20, so she won't be able to pick that up just yet, but it's interesting to see a lot of different build diversity here. The one constant we see is that Atalanta's bow, because that did get pretty buffed, but the Siege on this Phoenix is going to be getting, oh, the Zeus as well as the Scylla are going to be pumping out a lot of damage, but the heals are only on one side and the Siege begins.
Orchi dives in the backline, drops the Winds of Shamash, but not a whole lot of damage thrown back. Davian goes in with the ultimate, but doesn't find anybody. Puffy still has that out of a monster. It's the only ult left for Olympus and friends to try and defend. Everybody on Wraithyn, sans Warchi at least, is fairly healthy, but they're not going to continue the push either. Apophis set to respawn in less than a minute, and that could be the final objective they need to go ahead and close this one out. As you can see now, highlighted with that Atalanta's, you get power, good. You get attack speed, good. You get lifesteal, that's pretty good. And you get crit? Yeah, this is a pretty good item for hunters.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a pretty meta on most of the hunters you want to go right now. I mean, even Chiron, who we already mentioned, as well as Neith, we said that, you know, more ability-based hunters like that traditionally that don't want these items, they're still going to go them and have a good time. I mean, what hunter doesn't want those stats right now? And Warchi, his team is nowhere to be found. And he is sitting here. He's going to try to steal away the Siege Jug by himself. 1v4 at the moment, and Warchi is not scared. He is unshaken.
He'll do it.
He is standing here.
He will do it.
I think he might.
And the thing about it is these Juggernauts, whenever they reset, their health bars don't go back up. So they left it at such critical health for anybody to walk over and grab. And yeah, this man by himself, Warchi the God, making sure to zone 5 people away from their own Juggernaut in the midst of the jungle. They got 1 coming up the left side, 2 storming up the right side, and now with Apophis going down, a massive buff for Team Wraithyn that could be the final nail in the coffin against Olympus and friends.
I mean, if you're Olympus and friends right now, you see 3 Siege Jugs, well, 2 now because they just destroyed 1, 3 marching down. You have no Phoenixes. Oh, cancel that. Your right Phoenix just spawned up. Everyone is teleporting, and they are about to. Your base is about to be sieged. And I gotta see where this begins. River's Butte goes down, and Warchi jumps in. Here comes the damage.
Get some big damage with the ultimate. Wraithyn is zoning him away, and Warchi will strike first in the fight. Sinister Phoenix is gone, and with a lightning storm there, that is easy curtain call here. Team Wraithyn looking strong here in day 1 of the Content Creator Cup. They'll move on to the finals that will take place on Sunday, and tomorrow we'll get to see which team takes it on. A good showing here from Olympus and friends, but when it came to these base defenses, they never really had to punch back. It just felt like they were always on the defensive and nothing much more than that.
It was a Warchi diff, man. That's what I think it was. I mean, Wraithyn was diving as well. I love Wraithyn, so I should give the credit where the credit was due. But just watching Warchi just absolutely run the show, not scared in the slightest, 1v4ing at that Siege Jug. It must give your team the confidence you need to just run it down. That Phoenix defense turned into a Titan Siege very quickly, and it was curtains. Team Wraithyn played very well.
Team Wraithyn will move on in the Content Creator Cup. That's all that we got for the Creator Cup. We do have the SPL, the SWC quarterfinals happening up in just a few moments. But before that, we do have one very important thing that we need to go to, so we're going to throw that one over to Aggro over on the caster desk.